Can you sign it?
For the whole For the whole
I was waiting for it to come on up there.
There definitely has to be roses.
You're late. Last time we have. The other one touched the screen.
Why are they going to be arguing for it?
Cobb County Commission to order for our first quarterly meeting for our October 17th, our second quarterly meeting. If you would, commissioners, go ahead and log in on roll call to see if we have a quorum. All members are present. We have a quorum. I'll ask Frank Herndon if he would to lead us in our prayer, and Sammy Solomon to lead us in our pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together and conduct the business of this great county, Father. Lead, guide, direct us as we make each decision. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Attention, salute, and pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We welcome you to Jefferson County Courthouse. We're glad to see a lot of our employees here. In addition to that, we have some members of youth leadership. We'd like for them to stand and be recognized at this time. Thank you. We're always glad to have our youth leadership. First item on the agenda is approval and corrections of the agenda. A motion to hit request to speak. Is it not working?
Nah.
Frank ain't there yet.
There we go.
All right, here you go. Now hit it. Okay. Go ahead.
I'd like to add the resolution 2249 to the agenda tonight.
Have to make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
All right, we have a second. Discussion. All in favor of suspending the rules? Vote. Mr. Bales?
Did you get it? I'm trying. Crash Harbor.
If you're in favor of suspending the rules to change the agenda, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
John can't join the meeting. He's not joined. John Johnson says he's got something isn't right.
that was I'll be tossing that out in front of me this early in the meeting.
Confirm that vote.
You have
Just don't want to get
Jimmy
Are you
Dale?
verbal or not? Yeah. Just turn around.
It went off flood for a second, then I've lost.
You voting no?
Nick voted yes. All right.
You must have ethics committee. That's your heart, isn't it?
Passed by majority. Okay, Mr. Brooks, you have
I'd like to add resolution 2022-49.
resolution 2022
49.
49. There's a motion to add resolution 2249 to the agenda that Mr. Herman brought. We have a motion by Mr. Brooks. We have a second. We have a second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. Yes. John, Paul, yes. Ringo. Paul voted yes. So that passes. While we have the rules suspended, anything else to be added?
Do you need to add that bond? Move to add, Mr. Frank's got a bond from Ms. Jessica, needs to be done. Needs to be approved, move to add it.
Commissioner Scarlett makes a motion to add a bond for the finance director that's required. May I have a second?
I'll
Mr.
second it.
Bales. No, if there is no discussion, vote yes if you want to add the bonds under new business. Be okay? Under new business.
And Mr. Chairman, if we can do this by consent, could you move the recognitions and resolutions there of those recognitions, honoraries up, and then we'll have our election in case somebody has other pressing matters and don't want to listen to us?
Certainly. Does anyone have any objection of having proclamations prior to election officers? Joe, is your machine, Mr. Coleman?
Pardon?
Is it not voting? There you go, passed by majority. If there's no objection, we will flip the agenda to do our honorary resolutions and recognition. With that being said, we need to vote on approval of the agenda with these additions added to it. And there's a resolution, and there's a vote on the bond for the finance director, and by consent, we're going to move item 7 to item 6 and 6 to 7. Seeing no request to speak, do we have, we gotta have a motion? Okay, and a second. No request to speak, so we're ready to vote. You may vote. Yes, if you're in favor of the agenda as changed. No, if you're not. Agenda is approved as amended. So, that brings us to honorary resolutions and recognitions. So I'm going to start out with no particular order, but first of all, we always recognize the county commissioners who have served our county and are no longer serving in our county. So I'd ask Todd, Todd Kesterson, I see you there, if you could come forward, you and your family, and I'm kind of trapped in, so I'm going to do it from here, okay? We appreciate your service. Whereas Todd Kesterson, District 1, has served the citizens of Jefferson County, Tennessee for 8 years with dedication, integrity, and uncompromising principle. And whereas Todd Kesterson represented the legislative body as Chair Pro Tem, and whereas Todd Kesterson has dutifully served Jefferson County and its citizens in promoting the well-being and advancement of Jefferson County during both difficult and good times. Whereas Todd Kesterson is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for his dedicated service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Commissioners recognizes and gratefully acknowledges the exemplary spirit, service, leadership, and commitment of Todd Kesterson. Be it further resolved that the Jefferson County Legislative Body commemorates the spirit of a dedicated and cherished colleague who worked tirelessly serving Jefferson County. Be it further resolved that this honorary resolution be presented to Todd Kesterson and a copy be spread across the minutes of this county commission meeting to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Todd Kesterson, adopted this the 17th day of October. Frank's going to sign it. You taking pictures, Jeff? Okay. Here you go. You want to present? That's in your district. Well, we can change that. Was it 12?
Absolutely.
Michael Fagan. I thought I saw Michael here somewhere. Okay, there you are. Good to see you. Thank you for your service. Michael Fagan, District 3, has served the citizens of Jefferson County, Tennessee for 4 years with dedication in this role, and with integrity and uncompromising principle. Michael Fagan represented the legislative body as chaplain, and each meeting began with a prayer for guidance and leadership for Jefferson County. Michael has dutifully served Jefferson County and its citizens in promoting the well-being and advancement of Jefferson County during both difficult and good times. Michael Fagan is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for his dedicated service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Commissioners recognizes and gratefully acknowledges the exemplary spirit, service, leadership, and commitment of Michael Fagan. Be it further resolved that the Jefferson County Legislative Body commemorates the spirit of a dedicated and cherished colleague who worked tirelessly serving Jefferson County, and be it further resolved that this honorary resolution be presented to Michael Fagan and a copy to be spread across the minutes of the Jefferson County Commission meeting to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Michael Fagan. Thank you, Michael, and we will. Mr. Lowe is a member of your district, and he will present this to you. And Todd, if that's 12, I'll get that changed. We'll make it 100 if you want us to. It's just cut and paste. Edna Sheridan Langley. You and George would come up.
Got on the wrong side of the building.
Okay, you're fine. Edna Sheridan Langley, District 4, has served the citizens of Jefferson County, Tennessee for 4 years. Edna Sheridan Langley has served with dedication, integrity, and uncompromising principle. Edna Sheridan Langley has dutifully served Jefferson County and its citizens in promoting the well-being and advancement of Jefferson County during both difficult and good times. Edna is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for her years of dedicated service. Therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Commissioners recognizes and gratefully acknowledges the exemplary spirit, service, leadership, and commitment of Edna Sheridan Langley. Furthermore, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Legislative Body commemorates the spirit of a dedicated and cherished colleague who worked tirelessly serving Jefferson County. Be it further resolved that this honorary resolution be presented to Edna Sheridan Langley and a copy be spread across the minutes of the County Commission meeting to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Edna Sheridan Langley. So I'll let Mr. Byrd, who is from your district, and thank you for your service. And I have one from Gene Esslinger. Is any of Mr. Esslinger's family here? If not, Rob, I'll get you to drop that off if you would. Rick Moore. I saw Rick somewhere. Thank y'all for your service. Rick Moore, District 2, exemplified his volunteer spirit by serving the citizens of Jefferson County to fill a vacancy. Rick Moore has served with dedication, integrity, and uncompromising principle. He has dutifully served Jefferson County citizens in promoting the well-being and advancement of Jefferson County during both difficult and good times. Rick Moore is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for his dedicated service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Commissioners recognizes and gratefully acknowledges the exemplary spirit, service, leadership, and commitment of Rick Moore. Be it further resolved that the Jefferson County Legislative Body commemorates the spirit of a dedicated and cherished colleague who worked tirelessly serving Jefferson County. Be it further resolved that this honorary resolution be presented to Rick Moore and a copy be spread across the minutes of this County Commission meeting to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Rick Moore. We thank you and your wife for your service. And Mr. Commissioner Patterson will present you.
I'll wait to get back.
Is Linda Ramsey here or any of her family? Did I say? She said she wasn't going to come.
Ain't lying.
True to her word. Makes me wonder about commissions that have 25 commissioners and they all changed at one time.
So they wasn't doing a very good job.
Yeah, they probably just picked one resolution, wasn't it? At this time, we'd like to honor Ronnie Coleman. And Ronnie, if you and your family could come. Ronnie's still on County Commission, so this is not his thank you for being on County Commission. But just recently, he had a milestone, and we're glad that your family could be here with us. This is an honorary resolution to honor Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman, Chief Deputy of Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, is retiring and after faithfully serving in law enforcement for 34 years. Ronnie has also provided service as a constable and Chief of Investigations. Ronnie Coleman exemplifies the volunteer spirit as he continues to serve the residents of Jefferson County as an elected county commissioner in District 8. Whereas Ronnie Coleman, respected and admired is worthy of special recognition for his many years of service. Ronnie Coleman, as a member of law enforcement, has been a source to help many families in need of legal assistance. And whereas Ronnie Coleman has served with distinction and will be remembered with appreciation and gratitude. Whereas Ronnie Coleman has worked tirelessly serving Jefferson County and has made a positive impact with his ethical and professional manner, be it resolved that the Jefferson County Board of Commission present this honorary resolution to Ronnie Coleman, and a copy be spread across the minutes of the County Commission to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Ronnie Coleman, adopted this the 17th day of October. Sheriff, you close? Where's the sheriff? He's in the back. I'll ask the sheriff if he would to present this. We did this at the retirement, but being a commissioner, we thought we'd do it again. That was rehearsal we had up to. Checks in the mail.
Going to Disneyland now. Yeah, I wish.
We got one more, and this is an honorary resolution to commemorate and honor Garland Ponder McCoy. And I'd like for his family to come and stand here in the same area. And we thank you all for being here. And on a side note, we thank you for everything that Garland did for this county and fire service and everything he did. Whereas Garland McCoy served the residents of Jefferson County, Tennessee with dedication, integrity, and uncompromising principle. And Garland McCoy served Jefferson County his entire life. He helped organize the Jefferson County Rescue Squad in 1963. Was a member of the Dandridge Volunteer Fire Department since 1952. Served in all aspects of law enforcement and volunteered and supported all sports activities for many years. Garland McCoy, a member of Swans Chapel Baptist Church for many years, not only loved his family, but loved God and demonstrated his true Christian spirit in serving others. He was a deacon, Sunday school leader, and bus driver of his church for many years. He was a true public servant and example of volunteer spirit. Garland McCoy, admired and respected, is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for his dedicated service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Jefferson County, Tennessee recognize and gratefully acknowledge the exemplary spirit, outstanding leadership, and commitment. And be it further resolved that this honorary resolution be presented to the family of Garland McCoy, and a copy be spread across the minutes of the County Commission meeting to be a permanent record of thanks and gratitude to Garland McCoy. We appreciate what Garland did. We're sorry for your loss, and it's been a loss for all of us as a county. So, Ronnie, if you put your hand out there for me. Thank you. Yeah. Just hand it to you.
There we go.
That was a great birthday present. He turned 93 yesterday. Thank you all.
You're welcome. So that brings us to elections of officers. So the floor is open for nomination for chairman.
Nominate Mark Potts to chair again.
Second.
Give me a second. Any other nominations? Gonna do voice, roll call. We'll do voice. call on. You call the roll. Or you can move nomination cease.
I'll move the nomination seat and we elect by acclamation.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it's chair. Chairman Pro Tem. Nomination, floor is open.
Move to nominate Sammy Solomon.
Sammy Solomon's nominated.
I nominate Marcus Reed.
Hold on here. Sammy Solomon. Marcus Reed. I thought I saw another hand.
No, I was confused. I thought you had him second. So I was
Oh, no, not on
seconding
nominations.
Sam, so.
Well, you know who you're gonna vote for if you second. That's about all that. Any other nominations? So who do you want to vote on first? We'll do a roll call, and you either say Solomon or Reed. Or Commissioner Solomon and Commissioner Reed. Be more appropriate.
Katie Huffman,
Commissioner Solomon.
Janet Norton,
Reed.
Joe Coleman,
Commissioner Reed?
Jimmy Dale Patterson,
Solomon.
Austin Brooks,
Commissioner Reed.
Paul Lowe,
Reed.
Jim Snodgrass, Reed, Greg Bird,
Solomon.
John Johnson,
Solomon.
Tim Seals,
Solomon.
Sammy Solomon,
Solomon.
Robert Blevins,
Marcus Reed.
Ransom Douglas, Randy Bales,
Solomon.
John Neal Scarlett,
Solomon.
Ronnie Coleman,
Reed.
Terry Dockery,
Commissioner Reed.
Jimmy Carmichael,
Solomon.
AJ Walker,
Reed.
Marcus Reed,
Reed.
Heidi Thomas.
Solomon.
I'm not letting the team. Mr. Reed is pro tem, 11 to 10. Nominations open for chaplain.
Nominate Joe Coleman.
Joe Coleman's nominated for chaplain. Any other nominations?
Move nomination cease and we elect Mr. Coleman by acclamation.
Have a motion to cease, elect by acclamation. All in favor of doing that, say aye.
Aye.
I need a second, he says.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. We did. Parliamentarian, Ms. Huffaker.
I nominate John Neal Scarlett.
Mr. Reed.
I nominate Jim Snodgrass.
Other nominations? Hearing none, we will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Scarlett or Commissioner Snodgrass? Mr. Clerk, you call the roll.
Katie Huffaker,
Commissioner Scarlett.
Janet Norton,
Snodgrass.
Joe Coleman,
Snodgrass.
Jimmy Dale Patterson,
Joe Deere.
Austin Brooks,
Commissioner Snodgrass.
Paul Lowe,
Scarlett.
Jim Snodgrass, Greg Bird,
Scarlett.
John Johnson,
Commissioner Scarlett.
Tim Seals,
Scarlett.
Sammy Solomon,
Scarlett.
Robert Blevins,
Snodgrass.
Ransom Douglas,
Scarlett.
Randy Bales,
Scarlett.
John Neal Scarlett,
Staines.
Ronnie Coleman,
Snodgrass.
Terry Dockery,
Scarlett.
Jimmy Carmichael,
Scarlett.
AJ Walker,
Scarlett.
Marcus Reed,
Commissioner Snodgrass.
Dottie Thomas.
Scarlett.
14-6. 14-6, Commissioner Scarlett is parliamentarian. Next item is approval of minutes. Where's my thing? I should have had citizens' comments here somewhere. It'll be right after this, sorry. Okay. Approval of minutes. You have 3 sets of minutes to approve. The regular quarterly session in July, the special call July the 25th, and the county beer board meeting on July the 18th. Do I have a motion and a second? Is that to include all 3 sets of minutes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Any corrections? Hearing none, then you're ready to vote. If you're in favor of approving the minutes as presented, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
Why did you do that? It's okay. Change it. Just tell them.
Passed. Next. Sorry.
It doesn't make any difference.
You voted yes, I thought, didn't you? Did you vote yes?
Yeah.
Did you change your vote? Yes is no, no is yes. Citizens' comments, Marion Knight, please. If you'll come to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Sure. My name's Marion Knight. I live at 440 West Main Street in Dandridge, and I would like to respectfully request that you consistently post your meeting agenda online prior to your meetings. I was looking for today's agenda and called the office to find out where it was posted, but I was told it would be available at the meeting and that agendas were usually posted online with the minutes, which I believe would make it 3 months after the meeting. I was disappointed to hear that that I have to come to the meeting to find out what's going on at the meeting. I'm new to the area, and like many other new residents, I'm interested in what my county government is doing. I came here from an area where my government was not always transparent. It promoted distrust. I want to trust you. From my perspective, and I'm sure I'm not alone, it would be nice to know what was going to be on the agenda without having to come to the meeting to find out. So I am here respectfully requesting that you post your agenda online before the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, you have a list from the clerk, Mr. Herndon, of notaries and bonds. Did you add to that prior to the meeting? Okay. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Solomon, second by Mr. Reed. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. John's a yes, I don't know what's passed. Next items are mayoral appointments. They're listed in your packet.
Can we take all those at one time?
We can, if that's your motion. So, when electronically catch up. All right, we're there. All right, motion by Mr. Scarlett. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second.
Yeah, they're on the head there. Quick on that button there.
I got to do that one.
Button pusher. Button pusher.
Any discussion other than, if not, you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Passed by majority. That brings us down to trying to keep up here. So that brings us down to the next voting item would be school board surplus resolutions. And I listed those out for you on that other meeting. Dr. Arnold would like to have been here, but has a family issue that he's taking care of. So that's what's going on there. So all the surplus resolutions, anything that's doing with surplus is in that initial pack you got. And that work session, you know, I named out which ones. There's a couple that are honorary proclamations. Of course, we're not voting on them. That's a school board thing. So this is to justify the books or to bring surplus items up to date. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we're voting on everything but the 22-110. That'll have to be a separate vote. So I have a motion by Mr. Seals and a second by Mr. Solomon. Is that to group all surplus items at one
Yes, sir.
time?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, opposed vote no.
There you go. Don't brag about it yet.
Passed 20-1. So the next item is 2022-110. But you just hit what that is.
That's a resolution for the federal funds. It's to move $1 million from the general fund 141 to the federal fund 142. It's basically for cash flow purposes. Federal fund 142 is a reimbursement process for grants. So, for example, one of our payrolls is over $700,000 in that fund. So it's to provide cash until we get the reimbursement back.
We have a motion and a second. Floor is open to discussion. If you want to speak, press your request to speak button. Seeing none, all in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. It passes. That brings us down to the finance director, and I simply put market study. So I thought that was a broad enough term there for you folks.
Okay, so we bid out the market survey and I received 3 bids. I have included that in your packet. The lowest bid is Dr. Lou, that's what I'm going to refer him to. It's the Rabinowitz Consulting Group in Maryville, Tennessee for $19,750.
So
Anybody has any questions on that? That's the one I recommend. That is the lowest bidder.
So do y'all want to take any action on this? It's a budget item later on. Mr. Scarlett.
I move that we do not consider Ms. Jessie's recommendation at this time, or we do not exercise her recommendation at this time.
Second.
Lots of seconds. So we have a motion and a second. You're not postponing, you're just not dealing with it at this time.
My recommendation is that we not accept her recommendation at this time.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Scarlett. We have a second. I saw several hands from Mr. Blevins. Discussion.
If I can speak to this.
You can speak to the motion.
The reason I'm making this motion is the prior motion had been made that the survey we could not address any compensation until we voted on to accept or deny the survey. If we accept the survey recommendation of Ms. Jessie, we cannot do any compensation for the county employees until such time when that survey's results are returned. So this is the reason I'm making a motion to not address this at this time.
Other discussion? Ms. Huffaker?
This is not discussion, but I want to clarify, if you vote yes at this time, that means you're,
That means that motion that was made prior goes away. And it allows us to address things. If you vote against this, we are still governed by that motion.
Mr. Docker?
Same for clarification, Mr. Carter, it's along the same lines with Commissioner Huffaker. If we vote no tonight, if the body wants to, later in the agenda, we could suspend the rules and talk about raises for county employees tonight. Is that correct?
If you vote yes to not address this at this time.
Misword that again.
If you vote no, we're still governed by the motion. If you vote yes not to address it at this time, deny it, then the motion goes away and we can suspend the rules and we can talk about compensation if that is the wish of the body.
Seeing no more requests to speak. If you're in favor of the motion not to accept this market study at this time, you should vote yes. If you want to, the market study at this time, you should vote no. You may vote. Motion passes. Mr. Snodgrass.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to talk about county employee raises.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Take me into count. Take a pick, Frank. You know, I'm supposed to tell Frank who does the second, but when I'll let you stick your hands up, I'm like this big one. You can go back and watch it on YouTube or something.
Pretty sure about that.
This whole road section, so take a pick. All right. Any discussion? It's a motion to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules, vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, you got the budget
Oh,
calendar.
there's more.
Passed by majority, 21-0. You want to add that under new business, discussion of employee raises? Are you making that as a motion? Yes. Okay. Under new business, hold on.
You have to have a second.
Now,
I'll second it.
all right. Have a motion, have a second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. And that's added under new business, employee raises. It passes 21-0. All right.
Okay, next item is the budget calendar for next fiscal year. We had a special called budget committee meeting prior to this meeting for them to review the calendar. The only adjustment that I understood that they wish to have made is on March 13th. For me to basically reword it, it would read budget committee meeting to review capital projects and debt service fund, and that nonprofits were included in the packet. You're only receiving for information only. You will see the nonprofit groups on April 10th meeting. So I believe this calendar
Just
has to be approved.
clarification.
Yeah. So that's just a clarification. None of the dates were changed.
This is a recommendation from the budget committee.
Yes.
Needs no second, but we got it up there, we have a motion second. All in favor of accepting the budget calendar? Meeting and discussion, vote yes, opposed, vote no. So it passes. So that brings us to, you have a copy of the financial reports. If you have any questions, this would be the appropriate time to ask. Mr. Scarlett.
Did you get the quarterly reports from the nonprofits that had not sent them?
None other than the ones that you got in your quarterly packet last week for work session. No others have come in. No, I have not received quarterly reports from every nonprofit. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
That's the answer.
I'd like to move that they be sent a notice that is a requirement to receive money. And if they don't send it, then the finance department will have to withhold that based on what their memorandum of understanding is.
You send it to all nonprofits or just the ones that haven't sent it in?
Just the ones that hadn't sent it in. The ones that sent it in, they got no problems.
You'd think they'd learn. I mean, it's every year.
All right, so that's your motion?
That's my motion.
A motion to send a reminder to nonprofits who haven't turned in a quarterly report. They should turn them in, or there will be, their money may be
They will not
withheld.
receive any money. That's in their memorandum of understanding.
I was trying to be a little kinder.
Just start now, folks.
So, motion, second, discussion. Second. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Pass. So that reminder will be sent out by the finance director.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
you're welcome. Next item is resolution 2022-40. A motion to approve and being, you're able to do it yet. Surplus archives. You moved it, wasn't it? We have, we get a motion, sir? Okay. I assume you don't want to talk about you because you already voted, so vote yes in favor, vote no, you're against. That's, some equipment for the archives. Passed by majority. Then we have resolution 2241. 2022-41 is to declare a surplus and to authorize Jefferson City Public Library to surplus and donate said equipment. We need a motion and a second. Now, favor yes, no opposed. Passes. Next item is resolution 2022-42. Resolution to declare a surplus and authorize White Pine Public Library to surplus and donate said equipment. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. It passes. I don't know whether I have done this, but I want to recognize that Ashley Lyons is here with Jefferson County Health Department. And you can stand, so this, you remember Sherry Montgomery, this is your new Sherry Montgomery, so welcome to Jefferson County. Also, need to recognize Tracy Clayton, who is now the Director on Office on Aging. Rhonda retired, and we're gonna have to get her a resolution, get her in here to next month, but Tracy Clayton, and he talks about senior citizens, but his office does a lot more than just senior citizens, so his office on Aging, just want to recognize and welcome him. In addition to that, I thought I saw Michael Cole here somewhere. Michael Cole is the new Director of the Chamber, and so you can put a name on the face there and welcome. All right, moving on down the line, that brings us to budget, county budget amendments. Mr. Chairman of the Budget Committee.
All right.
Fund 101.
Fund 101. Amendment number 5. Highest so moved by the Budget Committee, requires no second, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion?
Would you like to take it and the next one together since they're both?
However you want to do it. That's fine with the chair.
We've got one that uses
Fund balance.
fund balance. Well, that one uses fund balance, I'm sorry, $155 for it. So we'll have to take it separately.
That is second. All right. You're in favor of budget amendment for General Fund 101, number 5. Vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. It passes. Budget Committee.
Fund 101, number 6. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
If you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Passes. Next one is Fund 101, Amendment number 7.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Requires no second.
All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
Fund 127, Amendment 2,
There's 101, number 8.
number 1, I'm sorry, 101, number 8.
101A.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. It passes. The next one's the Law Library Fund 114, Amendment 1.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Passes. The next one is Fund 127, Amendment 2.
Amendment 2, ARPA funds being moved around. It is reserve balance and fund balance, Mr. Chairman. So moved.
Come from committee, needs no second. If you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. It passes. That puts us to Capital Fund 171, Amendment 2.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
No discussion. If you're in favor of Capital Fund 171, Amendment 2, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Passes. Next one's Nursing Home Capital Fund 174, Amendment 2.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Passes. Other Capital Projects Fund 189, Amendment 1.
CDBG grant. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Needs no second. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. School amendments.
I think we can take the school amendments together. All of 141. Number 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, we can go to number 9. That's got a fund balance in it.
Yes. Number 7, if you've got it on your agenda, is struck. So you'll be getting 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And 9 is fund balance.
9 is fund balance. It has to be separate, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll be doing,
4, 5, 6, and 8.
yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Doesn't need a second. Coming from the Budget Committee. All in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. Passes. Fund 141 general purpose funds does involve fund balance. It's your next item.
$714,540. So moved, Mr. Chairman. Finishes up the air conditioning at all the gyms.
Needs no second. All in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. It passes. Fund 143, student nutrition funds.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Needs no second. All in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. It passes. Can we group Fund 143 and Fund 177 together? They have no fund balance.
Yes, sir.
So last two budget amendments grouped together.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Needs no second. All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. It passes. You should have received today a copy of the nominating committee.
One, Mr. Chairman.
What? Sorry.
We've got one more.
Oh, I don't have it.
It is a sales contract authorization for it on the truck.
That was within the budget amendment.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that brings us to the nominating committee report, and this time of year, there's a lot of nominations as county commissions change. Ms. Thomas was elected chair of the nominating committee. It was given to you, I sent it out to you today, and you can, it comes from a committee, so it needs no second, but we'll take it anyway. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. It's approved 20-1. Resolution 2022-47. Oh, sorry. The library board presents their own nominations. It doesn't come from the nominating committee, and their nomination is Pat Eisenberg, and we need to approve that. It's, so I need a motion in a second. All in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. It passed. So, Resolution 2022-47, it's regarding Tennessee National Guard, and Mr. Brooks and others spoke at work session about it. I think it comes from two commissioners, so it doesn't need a second, but probably the vote we needed. Any other discussion? All in favor vote yes, opposed vote no. $20-1. Tipping fees for Mr. Galt. He presented at work session, raising tipping fees at the landfill. Have a motion by Mr. Seals, second by Mr. Byrd. Floor is open to discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Passes 21-0. Resolution 2022-43, CDBG grant. Have a motion. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. Passes. Resolution 22-44. This is part of the infrastructure bill that we have. Motion second. All in favor, sorry.
Is Mr. Johnson still city manager?
I am.
We can't do that. It's gonna have to be done.
I'll make a motion for it.
Mr. Seal made a motion. Also from the vote,
Yes, sir.
give him a couple of months and he won't have to from what I
I
heard.
understand. Just much cleaner, it's just much cleaner right now.
All right, we have a motion second, so the floor's up for discussion. All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. If you abstain, hit abstain. Passes 20 with one abstention. Resolution 2022-45, White Pine Infrastructure. We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion. All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no.
Commissioner Reed, did you intend to amend?
Three?
You want to speak?
No.
All right. I think Frank wanted you to, I'm not
Oh.
sure. Resolution 2022-46, Dandridge Infrastructure. Oh, we're still voting on White Pine. All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no.
You voted.
Pass. Now on the Dandridge. 2022-46 is our next resolution. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. Passed by majority. The next item, item G, is a right-of-way exchange with Betsy Carmichael. Mr. Dawson. I'm sorry. Betsy.
You read the way it's wrote, but it's wrote on.
Yeah, it's Betty. Sorry. And I know who Betsy. So Betty Carmichael, and it's a right-of-way exchange that they talk about in work session. So it's an exchange of land within the property. They're wanting to build a house. Mr. Galt's been working with the attorneys. The Carmichaels will incur any cost involved. It's just a land swap within this. So this motion would be to allow Mr. Galt to get all the paperwork, Carmichael's bear the expense, and give me the authority to sign the right of way to them and fix their property where they'll be able to build that house. So I have a motion by Mr. Scarlett, second by Mr. Douglas. Any questions or discussion? All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. Passes 21-0. So that brings us to the resolution 22-49. Motion by Mr. Reed, second by Sammy Solomon. Quickly tell us what 22-49 is.
2249 is
Yours, I'm sorry.
mine. It's a resolution that came out today from our parent organization, the County Officials Association. A new service we're going to be offering in our office to do some TBI background fingerprinting. And with that, we get paid a per diem per fingerprinting we do, then the company that TBI contracts with that sends us a portion of that fee. And this just commits that money back to the use in our office. Still goes to the finance, or to the trustee each month. Finance department tracks the money. It just commits it for use for the county clerk's office.
There you go. Other questions? And this will be the only fingerprinting in the county. This will be the only place you can go for fingerprints, so we'll keep here in the county. So if you're in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Motion passes. That brings us down to employee raises, unless I missed something. Is there something else? Bond. Okay. We need to approve a bond for the finance director provided, it's required by law, something we gotta do. So a motion to approve our bond. Motion and second, discussion. All in favor, vote yes. Opposed, vote no. And it passes. Okay, so that brings us down.
Mr. Chairman.
Sir.
I forgot one thing. On the budget committee, there was a motion made, found my notes. Motion made by the budget committee to recommend that we employ Dr. Lou, because I can't pronounce his last name either, Dr. Lou to do a market study survey.
Yes.
For $19,000 and change. And that money be coming from the fund balance, and that market survey results be included and used in our budget 23-24 budget,
That was,
or 22.
that was within the budget amendments that were voted on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
I didn't see it in there.
I apologize, it was approved.
So you funded it.
Okay.
You just didn't want it.
I just had a note here that I made.
Well, you funded it, you just said you didn't want it at the beginning, so we're gonna go there. All right, so we're hoping to, item added to the agenda, employee raises. Floor is open for a motion. Austin Brooks, what's your motion?
I thought it was just for discussion.
It was added to the agenda, it's,
Oh, I was just wanting it for discussion.
The bottom one, I think, or the big square.
Oh, okay. You wanna do that?
so you just want to request speak?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Do I need to do anything down here?
Not unless Frank needs to.
I did this one.
And then I think, Mr. Snodgrass, I don't know which one of you have a motion first. We gotta have a motion, of some form or
To
fashion.
discuss.
So we don't?
That's what that's.
No, we have a discussion without a motion.
All right.
So we can.
Mr. Brooks, you have the floor.
I was just wondering, could we request the department heads to, like, work up what they think they would need? Are we talking about, like, cost of living raises? Can the department heads bring what they need, rather than just doing, like, a blanket percentage for the whole county?
We can do whatever the body decides. I'm gonna move to Mr. Snodgrass.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion for across-the-board 10% pay increase, excluding those within the sheriff's department that had their most recent adjustment.
You're making a motion across the board. Now, when you say
Yeah,
across the
correctional
board,
officers.
are you including part-time
Yes.
and
Go ahead. I want to talk a little bit after that.
911?
911 is not included normally. You actually have to say 911.
So, we're gonna work on your motion here. So you're making a motion for basically a cost of living increase of 10%. So it's says.
I'm not calling it cost of living. 'Cause
Well,
I-
okay, but
yeah,
a 10% increase
yes,
across the board, excluding those who received raises in July.
correct,
And are you including 911 in that?
correct,
Are you including part-time employees in that?
correct.
Is it effective now or is it retroactive to July 1?
To be honest, I haven't thought about that, but I'm for making it retroactive. If
To
that's
July
part of
1.
that's part of our normal process in past years, so continue with the normal process.
So I have a motion and a second by Mr. Coleman, I think. So, your motion is a 10% increase across the board, including 911, part-time employees, and it excludes those people who were given a raise at the July quarterly meeting, and on the employees that are getting this raise, it is retroactive to July 1.
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
Can I continue to speak, or do I have to hit
Yes,
another button?
Yes, it's your motion.
Okay, so I'm not adding to the motion, I just want to speak.
Okay.
Everybody
You can
knows.
close out at the end if you want to.
Yeah,
You
No,
can be
I'm-
the last person. to
I'm on a
speak.
roll here, so I'd like to
All
keep
right,
going. So I don't speak very often, but this is a highly sensitive issue across our nation, and it hits us right here at home every day. But there are points in time, especially what I see in my industry, where you have to take a step forward, and then we gotta work our way back into it. Otherwise, we're going to continue to have turnover because we're currently so far behind in other market areas. Okay, it's a chance we can keep folks here that we want to keep here, and that want to stay here and work in our own county. Everybody should be uneasy about such a large increase, but again, we're just getting up to maybe at the tad over the inflation rate. So if we don't, we're going to continue to lose folks, and we're going to be coming back. The cost of replacing people is tremendous. It doesn't matter if it's part-time, full-time. You lose knowledge, you lose good workers. You're starting back at ground zero, and you're actually going to spend a lot more money getting those folks up to speed, reinvesting in equipment, knowledge, training, and it's going to take a while to get there. That's it.
So I have a request to amend. Mr. Reed.
Can I speak first?
Yes.
I'd like to say that, and I mentioned this at the work session, that I have talked to numerous employees, quite a few department heads, and I have learned that we have deputies, that a few that have to go talk some items in order to make ends meet because we pay once a month. We have people throughout the county that are making maybe $12 an hour, including within the school. I know that employees are working together to present a case to us as the county commission saying, we need help. I believe that every citizen in this county has seen their earnings decrease quite rapidly and by a lot over the last couple years. I would like to amend this motion to provide a 12% increase to the employees of the county. I think they deserve it. I know that some are struggling, the one that I have talked to, and I just think that we can have beautiful buildings, as I said, we can have wonderful schools, we can have employees in our county making a lot of money. And I think the ones that are in the trenches that are making this county a safe place to live need to have something to live on. So that's why I make that amendment.
You make the amendment. Rob, did you second the amendment?
Yes, sir.
The floor is open to discussion. The original motion is for 10%. The amendment is to increase the raise to 12%. Just for clarification, I'm gonna ask the finance director what the dollar amount difference is before you all ask, because I know it's gonna be.
I didn't have 12% on my cheat sheet, so give me just a second and we'll figure that out.
In the meantime, Ms. Norton, are you requesting to speak on the amendment?
Yes, I just wanted some clarification. It was said that there was an adjustment in July, and now we're talking about a raise. I know just from personal experiences, I'm just trying to get a clarification here. Did they adjust their pay to what seemed to be more fair and get everybody on the same level, or did they actually get a raise in July?
That was just correction.
That was corrections, right?
I'll take it as corrections.
That was just correction.
So did they get a raise or an adjustment?
It was jailers.
They raised them to a more fair,
Yes.
okay.
Be more equal to surrounding counties.
I'll leave them out.
Hold on. So your question is, was it a raise or adjustment, or what did we call it?
Well, I just speaking from personal experience in the school system, they did an adjustment to equalize the pay more, where some people hadn't had raises in years to try to get us where we should be, and then hopefully eventually they got a raise. So those are two different things.
Right.
And so that's why I was trying to figure out, if they adjusted their pay to where they should have been anyway, why aren't we giving them all the raise? Why are we excluding somebody?
Other requests to speak? We're talking about the amendment. Ms. Huffaker.
Okay, so back to the jailers, is that the right term?
Yes.
Correction officers. Was the salary increase two questions. Was the salary increase at least 12%, since the amendment's talking about 12%? If it wasn't 12%, was it at least 10%?
It was almost 18%.
It's actually average 20. Average 20.
Other requests to speak? We're talking about the amendment to the motion. You still got the floor, go ahead.
Okay, another question is, can you please tell us how much is in the fund balance?
General fund balance, 101.
Yes.
After those budget amendments that were just approved that used fund balance, our current available fund balance for 101 is around $5.3 million. Do you also want?
Yeah, tell the difference between the 10 and the 12.
Okay, so the monetary difference between 10% and 12% is around $400,000. Including all funds, 10% is just shy of $2 million, and 12% is $2,360,000, and that's an estimate.
Okay. Mr. Docker.
I just wanted to attempt to provide Commissioner Norton to answer her question if it's helpful, but I don't recall this body approving any kind of pay adjustment or raises for county employees since July 1st, except for the average 20% raise for corrections officers. That's all I remember.
Okay. Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, I got a question for the sheriff. How many corrections officers didn't get at least a 10% bonus?
There's 3 that did not receive at least a 10%. It was wide range. Some received almost a 30%, so.
With that said, then, I want to amend that motion to include those people that would get at least a 10%, if not the 12%.
So you're offering an amendment to add.
Is there anybody else that was left out?
That is what we did in July. So that included all of those that are under the jail department. It included the workhouse, and also the sanitation department, which is the litter grant. It did not include anyone that was under the sheriff's department, which would be the detectives,
But.
road deputies.
So Ronnie, I need to be clear on your amendment. Your amendment is to include who?
The three people that didn't get at least a 10% raise.
The three people who did not receive at least a 10% increase in July
Yes.
in the jailers,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Do we have a second to that amendment?
Can you hit the amend button? Mr. Coleman?
Hit the amend button.
So we'll need a second, and Mr. Blevins, I believe, are you seconding Mr. Coleman's amendment?
Yes, sir.
So the floor is open to discussion on including three people who did not receive at least 10%. Ms. Highfaker.
So for clarification, did the three receive anything at all, or they didn't receive anything at all?
No, they did. One was 7.5%, one was 6.2 or 6.4%, and one was 7.5%. So I assume this means the difference, whatever.
So, Ronnie?
Yes.
Do you mean the difference up to 10 or 12%?
Up to 10.
Okay.
Ever what we're giving the patrol people, or whatever we're making for everybody else, those three people that were excluded
Okay.
to be added in, get up to 10, 12%, whichever is.
So if the
confirmed.
12% passes, you want it 12?
You just want them included.
Yes.
Mr. Solomon.
Why was the three excluded for?
They weren't excluded at all. We did an average increase, and I worked with the sheriff on the salaries, and so that just, there was just a small difference to bump them up compared to the others.
Mr. Bales.
What would that do to the tax rate? What would it take from the numbers? We're taking, if we do this, we're taking at least half of the fund balance, if I'm not mistaken. You said 5 something, we're 2.3 on the 12%.
So penny value right now is $140,500. So if we're looking at
Tax rate.
if you're looking at 12%,
What'd you say?
almost 17
Yeah.
Mr. Dockery.
Just for to clarify, Jesse, the rollover this year is 2.6 million, correct?
$2.6 for general fund.
So
So
that's,
this will affect all of the funds though that have salaries in them. It would affect Fund 101, 116, 207, and Highway 131.
but the 2.6 million rollover is basically money we had in last year's budget, different than we get to spend.
It was our-
And that's more than enough to cover a 10 or a 12.
For this one time, but this
Right.
would be reoccurring,
Yeah.
so we're starting
But
out
if
with next.
if we didn't spend 2.6 million out of last year's budget, maybe we could not spend 2.6 million next year.
It was our revenue exceeding our expenditures. Yeah, yes, sir.
Maybe.
All right, I'm not seeing any other requests to speak. That means we'll be voting on, I don't remember who made Mr. Coleman's amendment to include the three people who did not receive up to 10% included in whatever increase this is, whether it's 10 or 12.
Okay, one thing I am confused about. This is every employee in the county, not just the sheriff's department, right?
Not on the
That's just the sheriff's department?
On the amendment.
3 people that
The
were
10 or
voted
12,
on.
no, the 10 or 12% raise. Is that
That's
county?
everyone in the county.
That's what I
That
wanna make
includes
sure.
all full-time and part-time.
But this right, what you're voting on right
But I know,
now,
but I just want to make sure that's fine. That's why I want to make sure it wasn't just one department.
okay, so this amendment right here is just for the three employees in the jail that did not receive it. So that's what this amendment does. It adds those employees in. No request to speak. All in favor of this amendment, vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
They're all over the place.
Just for the three, right? That's what I understood. Be careful what you wish for. Somebody may use that.
He's abstaining. Okay, so it passed, that amendment passes, so those employees are included. That brings us back to the original,
Joe Cole cannot do that. He has to, well, he's got to abstain because his vote's on this, well, no, I'm sorry.
Not on that, he
we're
doesn't.
just including
This
employees.
is just the three.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
that's
sorry.
why I voted.
So that passes, that brings us back to the amendment to increase to 12%. That's the amendment that's on the floor now. Mr. Snodgrass has the original motion. Mr. Reed made an amendment to raise it to 12%. We have now approved including 3 employees at the jail who didn't receive up to 10, and they would either get 10 or 12% depending on how the final motion comes out. So the floor is open to discussion. Any request to speak? Go ahead. Is it you, Ms. Norton?
Yeah, so if we're related to anybody that's county employee, do we need to abstain? That's gonna be everybody in the room.
Not when we
Probably.
vote on it as a whole,
But the police department,
but
the
if we,
sheriff's department. My dad works the sheriff's department. Should I abstain from this vote?
No,
No.
you do not have to, Ms. Norton,
no.
on that one. If you are employed, or if it had been your spouse,
Okay.
well, not the spouse, I'm sorry. They changed that.
So if we were voting on a vote
Employed
to,
by.
to increase the planning office, obviously, that's not ever gonna happen, but Pop couldn't vote.
Zoning.
We're cutting him out.
Yeah.
I knew that was
Make an
coming.
amendment.
How'd I know that was
So,
coming?
Ms. Norton. Mr. Carmichael.
Question, Miss Jessie. What is the difference between the 10% and the 12%?
Almost $400,000.
Almost 400,000?
Yes, sir.
So that in itself is another 3 pennies the tax rate. So, you know, my biggest question to everybody in this room is, how much is your increase in pay worth considering what your property taxes are gonna do next year? You know, you gotta stop and look at what the budget's gonna do next year. You could be possibly looking at the largest tax increase we've ever had. If we're 17 cents down at what, 10% or 12? At 12%. At 12%, we're gonna be 17 pennies in the hole before we start that budget.
No. You got to add.
There's another 900,000, that's what I was getting ready to say.
To that, correct.
Is there another 900,000 right there somewhere?
You used the ARPA money and the other, how much was that? The 500,000?
Yeah.
500,000,
The
I'm sorry.
$500,000 that we used the ARPA money to budget.
That's what I was trying to get to, was I was trying to clarify that.
Mr. Blevins, Jimmy, you done, I'm sorry.
Well, I can be done, I'm done.
Well, I mean, you still got the floor, right? It's hard to tell looking at people's back.
What I'm saying is, when you add all this together, next year, when you start the budget, that's how far behind you're gonna be before you play catch-up. Before you spend another dollar for nothing else, we're gonna be roughly, what, 23?
3 million.
Yeah, we'll be $3 million in the hole. That's what I was trying to count this up in my head. Was we're gonna be roughly $3 million in the hole. When the first year I was chairman, the biggest in the hole we ever was at 4.1. My first year as chairman, we were $4.1 million in the hole to start a budget process. I believe that's right.
We're like 2.5 million paying the bond payment.
That's right.
Mr. Blevins,
If it was about a school, it wouldn't be much of a problem to spend that much. Thank each of you for what you do. All of you. Love it or hate it, it's the way it is. Or you can go somewhere else to work and we'll have nobody to protect anybody. We get it. So thank you for what you do. You don't get paid enough anyways. But we'll try to pay you as much as we can. We're a small county. There's not 60,000 property owners. Remember that. But that's okay. Does this include, what does this have to do with the COVID money? Does that come into play at all, or is there any?
This doesn't include any COVID money. What he was referring to, we had the ARPA funds that I was able to, we were able to purchase some vehicles, sheriff vehicles, and EMS through it last year. We won't have that this coming year.
No more Ferraris. Okay. Well, that's all I got.
Mr. Reed, you want to close?
Yes, I understand what we're saying about taxes. I'm a taxpayer like everyone else. But I want us to understand this. In this body, we've discussed spending anywhere from 19 to 26 million. And maybe I just think in a simple way, but if we say we can afford to spend $60 million to build schools, why in the world can't we afford to give our employees a 12% raise that they richly deserve? Thank you.
Mr. Reed has closed out the motion. We're ready to vote. If you're in favor of the amendment that increases it from 10 to 12%, which you've already approved the other 3 employees in, let me make that clear, that's already done. So now you're voting on whether to increase this to 12% or not. If you're in favor of amending the motion to 12%, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. So the amendment fails. That brings us back to the original motion. 10% across the board to all employees, including E911, 1 part-time, retroactive to July 1, excluding the jailers who received whatever it is you're calling it they got in July.
Except the 3 people, correct?
The what?
The 3 that didn't get it? Or didn't?
Yeah, they're in.
They're in.
Okay.
No, it's a separate amendment. So the one amendment passed, this amendment did not. Are they coupled together?
No.
His amendment was to the,
His amendment was to the,
For either.
was moved to the 12. If
Yeah.
you want the 3 in, you have to make it again, because it died with that other vote.
okay.
I said for either.
He said 10 to
He
12.
did.
I said for either.
He said whichever passes,
Yeah,
10 or
yeah,
12.
whichever passes, whichever
Yes,
passes,
it
yeah.
is, it's in,
Okay. So,
if he said that.
so we're back to the original motion by Mr. Snodgrass.
I guess they didn't vote.
Yeah, I did.
Two abstained. There's still 2 votes somewhere, you're right. So there's a no.
Who made this machine?
Who else?
That's it.
Is that got it?
Yeah.
Still fails. Okay, we're back to the original motion. 10% across,
As amended.
as amended. 10% across the board to all, including E911, part-time, retroactive to July, excluding the jailers who received raise, bonus, whatever it was. And it also includes the 3 people who did not receive 10%. So Mr. Snodgrass made the motion. Mr. Coleman seconded. Mr. Dockery requests to speak.
I'll be real brief. I'd just like to remind everyone, or for those who don't know, Social Security just announced an 8.7 increase this year for Social Security. If Social Security gives 8.7%, that's everybody knows how low Social Security is. I can't speak for Commissioner Coleman, but I can tell you in District 8, we've listened to citizens for years complain about the ambulance response time to some of the remote areas of District 8. Commission about 3 years ago approved money to add an 8th ambulance, excuse me, which would benefit all of Jefferson County, but we haven't been able to hire the people to staff it yet. So I just fellow commissioners, when we get to the point that police response is limited, EMS is slow, that's us not doing our job, and I think we got to do what we got to do tonight. For now, to keep the employees, and we'll get a few more, and then go look at it again next year's budget. Thank you.
Mr. Scarlett.
We just approved doing a market survey. We're gonna spend $19,000 some dollars. We're gonna look at compensation packages. We're gonna look at all that other. If we're gonna do that, whatever the number is and spread it out, we're gonna be locked in on that. We're gonna be locked in on the tax rate. If we're gonna do this, if it comes back that we're over that, then I would ask, is anybody gonna cut anybody's pay if that survey says it is too much? Because once you go there, I'm not taking it back from you. I'm not gonna do that. That's wrong. But if we're gonna do that, I'd like to make an amendment. We do an 8% compensation raise and a 5% bonus on top of that. They get the bonus in one lump sum. That pay raise is gonna be spread out over the whole year, whatever number you pick. So if we're gonna do that, then we'll know what that survey says by the next budget thing. And we'll know where to insert those figures. But I'm not ready to say that if that survey comes back and it tells me Jimmy Dale's $2 overpaid, I'm not gonna go down there and ask him for his $2 back. That's wrong. And if nobody else is ready to do it, I would urge you all to be very, very careful of what we do tonight. So I'm gonna make a motion for an 8% compensation raise.
So you're amending the motion.
I want to amend the motion. So I'm gonna press the little button there.
Let me make sure I understand, because you're amending the motion for an 8% increase.
8% compensation increase, just like what we're asking the survey to do.
In addition, a 5% bonus.
In addition, a 5% cash bonus to the employees to be paid prior to the end of the year. And I assume it would be November, Miss Jessie, before you could do that?
Yes, sir.
Any of this, based on where we are. So that check would come out, plus the retroactive check.
You're still leaving it retroactive?
Yes, sir. Still leaving it retroactive back to July 1 when we started this, because that's what we've always done.
Would the 5%?
One-time 5% bonus cash money right now, on top of an 8% compensation. And then we're gonna take the survey, because this is exactly what we're asking that survey, and we're spending $19,000 some dollars to do, is to see where we are. That will not happen until we get it into the budget for next year. We will see that survey done, and Ms. Jessie will incorporate that in next year's budget. But if we're gonna do this, let's give the employees the money. We've got a one-time thing. We may not have that rollover, It was from sales tax and others. So depending on where this thing goes, we may or may not have that money next year. But we can spend it one time. And then it will not reoccur. That survey comes back, it says, hey, we're this much off, and we can make that decision to do that.
All right, Mr. Bales, you're seconding that amendment. And Mr. Reed, are you requesting to speak to that amendment?
Yes, I am.
You have the floor, sir.
May I ask the sheriff a question?
Sir?
Sheriff, quickly, this 8% pay raise that would go to some of your deputies, what will that bring them to roughly? What will their pay be?
I'll have to look at 8%. I think we'll still be the lowest paid department when we start.
Just for everyone, just let me go over this for every commissioner. I understand what Commissioner Scarlett is saying, but when you give her a bonus, you use it and it's gone. It's not something you can maintain your budget with. Jefferson City Police Department, $42,700. White Pine Police Department, $40,310. New Market, $37,252. And I think Dandridge is off now. I think they are up, I'm not sure what they're up to. But these men, these women, and the employees of this county, every day, they go out and toil for us. I mean, you may look at me and say, hey, you're just making a big deal out of it. It's a political point. No, it's not. Those people deserve to have a decent living. In the state of Tennessee, for one person, from what I have seen from research, it takes over $16 an hour, like $16.75 for one person to be able to maintain themselves. Come on. We don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow and next week in this country because we are in a crisis. And I'm telling you, if we don't help our people, this county is going to be in a crisis. I rest my case.
Mr. Carmichael, I'm showing you next.
Question for Ms. Jesse. The bonus. Does payroll taxes come out of a bonus from the county? Can you tell me what a 5% bonus would be? How much money would that be?
A 5% one-time bonus?
Yes, a 5% one-time bonus, how much money are we talking about?
Well, I would assume it would be similar to the 5% as if we were raising their salaries.
What I'm speaking of, let me get a little more specific,
Okay.
as in the lump sum of money that each person out in the crowd would actually receive.
I can't tell you that because it depends on their salary.
What's
You
the
know,
average?
we'd have to
Is
say an
rate?
average salary of $35,000, how much money would 5% of that be?
5% of $35?
Yeah. Your calculator's easier to get there.
Yes,
$1,700. Well, no.
Okay.
Want to hear you say that.
I thought that was a trick question.
No, it wasn't a trick question. Oh, yeah. You need to say that. Thank
I
you.
want you to know.
Mr. Blevins.
Sheriff, how many deputies are we down? How many is on a shift each night?
We're supposed to have 6. We've got power. I mean, yesterday we had 4.
Oh, I know. You still do ride-alongs? Can people still come ride along from the community, or can the commissioners come ride along? Could we come ride along? I think a bunch of us need to. So you're down eight deputies, full-time deputies? They're just beating down the door to get here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we lost 2 at Danny. They got $2 over an hour raise.
Pay them some.
That's his skill. So they're up to down 4.
What's the lowest of the other surrounding departments? I don't have no.
I don't think there's one. On this one,
I mean, in our county.
Way low.
oh,
What's
Jefferson
money?
City or Cherry?
Newmark's 37, we're 33.
I've got Newmarket.
Okay, Newmarket's 37,
37,000.
we're 33, okay.
Are you done, Rob?
We might as well be.
Mr. Snodgrass?
First, I'd like to say what Mr. Scholar's proposed is a good business practice, and it is a sound practice to avoid absolute fixed cost. However, I believe we're past that at this point. Okay? Jefferson County's got a bright future. We're going to generate more revenue. Our tourism continues to grow, generating more revenue. We've got a new council put together to help develop our economics and industry and growth in this county. They're going to come. More people are moving here. There will be more revenue. If we didn't have that kind of bright future, we might be having a different discussion. But more revenue will come. I'm positive we'll be safe.
Mr. Scarlett, would you like to close on your amendment?
Yes, sir. I understand the figures that Commissioner Reed is putting out there, but there again, we, for some reason in this county, we will not talk about what total compensation is. We won't talk about cash. But we pay 100% of the insurance for a single employee. You go to Sevier County, that ain't happening. Commissioner Byrd shared with us at a meeting what he pays over there in other things in Sevier County, insurance, retirement, all the other associated costs. And if we compare apples to apples, I'm fine with it. But we're not comparing apples to apples. And that's why I say, if we're going to do this, and we've already obligated a survey, if we're going to do this in a blanket like this and just pick a number out of the hat, then we need to just do away with the survey. There's no need to do it. There's absolutely no need to do it if we're just going to keep doing this. But if we're going to do the survey, then we need to think about this thing in terms of total compensation. Because between retirement and insurance this time, the county swallowed 5% right up front, pre-tax dollars. And that's not something anybody wants to hear, but if that continues to go, you swallowed 5% of exactly what Ms. Jessie said. Each 1% is $140,000 approximately, a penny. So we already eat 5% on this deal with insurance and associated costs, retirement, and all that. But if we're going to do this and not even consider what the survey is going to say, then we need to save the $19,000 and put it towards somebody's salary.
Thank you. Mr. Douglas, I've cut off discussion, let him close it, so we're going to vote. Unless you could just, real quick, but he closed the amendment. So the amendment is 8% increase with a 5% bonus. So that motion was made by Mr. Scarlett, seconded by Mr. Bales. All in favor vote yes. Opposed vote no. And AJ's computer's dead, so you're dead.
What's the true statement? It's something, is it?
All right.
Joe, no.
So the motion to amend passed 11-7. So that amends the motion from a 10% across the board to a 8% across the board with a 5% bonus. Includes the 3 jailers that weren't included, includes 911 and part-timer, and the 8% will be retroactive to July. Is that your understanding that your motion as it's amended? Is that? Now we're back to the motion as amended. Motion amended has an 8% increase, a 5% bonus, and includes three jailers that did not receive up to 10%. This is only 8, but what do you do on that?
With the 3 jailers?
They get 8%. They get the difference between
So
what they got.
They got above 8.
Up to 8. Like I say,
Along with
it's
the
a
5% bonus?
total compensation.
Do the other jailers get the 5% bonus or?
Yeah, everybody gets 5%.
Sure.
Every county, the bonus is for everybody.
Okay.
So,
For everybody.
So, yeah, I mean, I think they,
So, go ahead, Mr. Snodgrass.
Hey, I forgot to ask this earlier. So is the 5% bonus after the 8% increase has been implemented, or is it prior to the 8% increase?
That's on my.
Yeah, go after.
That's on
Do it
my
after
list
there,
too. I
John,
was
dude.
having-
I'm sorry.
She said that shit.
I need that too.
That's a good question.
I vote for after the increase.
I do
Yeah.
too.
if it's a one-time thing, we've got the money in there. In my opinion, we've got the money in the fund balance to do a one-time expenditure. I'm gonna say after. For
You
my-
made it retroactive, so the 8% starts in July.
Yes, sir. And the 5% is after
One time
that.
after they.
So we're talking about an 8% total compensation bonus. Retroactive to
July.
To July 1, and then 5% based on that number.
You mean an 8% raise? You said an 8% bonus.
No, an 8% total compensation.
Raise.
Raise.
Yeah, okay, you said
Okay,
bonus.
I'm sorry. 8% total compensation, just like what we're gonna look at in survey.
All right, let's see if I put this together. There is an 8% increase retroactive to July 1. That goes into effect if this passes. In addition to that, all employees
Total compensation.
will get a 5% bonus
After the 8%.
because after the 8%, because the 8% went into effect July 1. The bonus is coming out now, so the bonus will be higher because of the 8% increase there. So
Do we need to
that's,
stipulate the part-time,
Sir,
part-time, is that?
it includes part-time, 911,
And the jailers that didn't get the 3% or get
3 of them.
the jailers that didn't get the 3%.
The 3 jailers.
The 3 jailers are included.
That didn't get up to that,
Okay.
if they didn't get that. If
They get a 5%, period.
they get, everybody gets 5% bonus. One time.
Ms. Huffman,
Just for clarity, 8% total compensation, is that an 8% salary increase?
5% on what we've already eaten, 3% on salary, 5% bonus.
Okay, wait. Say it
Say
slower.
it again.
We're talking about I said in the survey, we're asking them to do a total compensation bonus. Total compensation market survey.
Right, I'm not talking about, the survey's separate, we've already voted
So
on
if we're
that.
moving to that model,
Just from your amendment, the 8%, is that an 8% raise or an 8% total compensation? Where,
8% total compensation.
so are you including benefits too, or it's just salary?
Yes, benefits
That's
too.
3% pay increase.
So,
Plus
Oh.
5%.
so I think I was,
3%, and that's just a 5% raise instead of.
so, time out. You're including the healthcare increase in that 8%?
I said
Total
8%
compensation.
total compensation, just like what we're doing on the survey. Just like what we're asking, if that's what we're moving to.
Okay, hold on. What percentage of increase in money, let me put it that way, how much more money do they get if the
2%.
You get 3% raise plus a 5% bonus for a total of 8%.
But your raise is only gonna be 2%. 3% raise.
hold on a minute, this is,
You ain't gonna like it stuff.
Um,
Right now. We've done it
Ms. Huff,
before.
Okay, I was confused because I thought,
Ms. Huffaker has the floor, give us a
I was
second.
confused, I thought it was 8% raise.
No.
And that's on me. So I would like to make an amendment that it's an 8% raise and a 5% bonus.
Is there a second? Mr. Reed, what?
Commissioner Huffaker, can you amend that on your computer?
No.
Is it
There
there?
it goes, it went there.
Okay. Second, Mr. Reed. So now the 8% is monetary, not total compensation. So that's 8% monetary increase, then a 5% salary increase based upon that 8% retroactive to July. And that's what her amendment is, right?
The amendment she just made would be that.
Okay.
8% cash raise and a 5% bonus. Or
One-time bonus.
all you're doing is changing 8% from 8% total compensation to 8% cash, is that it?
Yes. And can the finance director tell us what that is in dollars?
Love to.
Gotta do some ciphering here.
Yeah, I'll kind of,
Good luck with that.
The 5% one-time bonus, I could give you an estimate, but I don't know what it's really gonna be based on. If it's based on current salaries right now, it's a little shy of $1 million. The 8% is almost 1.6 million.
So you bet 2.6.
About 2.6, but the 5% would be non-recurring for the next budget cycle.
seeing no request to speak, all in favor of the amendment? That makes it 8% cash and 5% salary. Vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
And is that including the 3 employees? Okay.
Yeah, and
that
all the
includes the
other
three.
3 employees and the retroactive.
3 guys.
911.
I think you're right.
8% raise, 5% bonus.
That's real money.
In July's paycheck, or November's paycheck.
Yeah. How do you go? So, the amendment passes 15-3, and 3 abstaining. So now, we're back to the original motion that I may have forgotten by now, but the original motion
As
as amended is 8% across the board, retroactive to July 1. That includes everyone except the jailers who got a bonus increase, whatever you call it, in July, and then there's 3 jailers that weren't included in that didn't make it up. They get,
I think only 2 will fall into the 8%.
so that'll bump them up to 8%, and they still get the 5% salary bonus. But the 8% goes into effect July 1, retroactive, and then the bonus check, so all employees should get a big November, check. Am I got that correct? Listen, I think includes 911, all part-time employees, retroactive. So, Mr. Burke.
Okay, I understand what all you're doing, but just for your information, I pulled it up on the calculator while we were doing all the other stuff. My insurance is $516 a pay period. That's just for me and my wife. Health insurance. That's no retirement, not just my health insurance. If you divide it over 12 months, that's $430 a month I have to pay out of my check, which, if I understand right, the county employees get theirs free? Single coverage.
100%.
Okay.
Family is 75.
Well, see, we don't get, I mean, like I said, that's coming out of mine. $430 a month just for me and my wife. That's no kids, nothing, just me and my wife.
That's Sevier County, right?
Sevier County. So, well, we're carrying apples to apples, you know. I understand the compensation and stuff like that, but no one's looking about, you know, what if you had, we give you all this money and then we said you had to pay your health insurance? You gotta look at that too. You gotta be, that's a bonus y'all get is your health insurance.
I did look at it.
But why would we always compare them with other counties? And, you know, why can't we be men of our own?
I'm sorry, Mr. Tipton.
Can I speak?
I'd like to too, because I got data that directly disputes that.
Let's, no.
Yes, sir.
But I do have a request to speak by Mr. Douglas.
I don't know what calculator you're using. I don't know what calculator you're using, but I was a Sevier County deputy 8 months ago, and I was on family insurance. This is just silly. I mean, everybody I work with except for me on my shift has a family, and they're having to pay for insurance. This is not helping retain employers. I worked the last 2 nights with 4 people. It's unsafe, and we got to do something to help.
Thank you. Mr. Clarence.
I would like to hear what Mr. Poe has to say.
Then Mr. Pope can speak.
I got apples. Honeycrisp apples is one of the terrible.
Good ones.
Okay, real good, the best you can get at the Food City. I just spent about, 2 weeks contacting Loudon, Bedford, Tipton, Dixon, Coffee, Hawkins, McMinn, Ronan, Carter, since we like to talk about other counties so much. It just so happens that from 1990 to 2020, the census information, I hope you can all hear me, Jefferson County was the second fastest growing
Come up with my
county in that list. Okay, just to give you an example, Jefferson County grew 66% in population. Okay, so I called in an official capacity. My name is Kevin Poe, Circuit Court Clerk of Jefferson County, and spoke directly to Michelle Murray, Mike Forbes, Pam Lewis, Jenny Anthony, Randall Collier, Rhonda Cooley, Ann Goldston, Johnny Blankenship, and Cindy Flowers. If you are an employee of the Circuit, General Sessions, and Juvenile Court system, please stand up. The people that are here behind me file more cases, get paid less, and with less people than anybody on this list. There's your apples. They pay the same insurance, the same identical in an official capacity email from each one of those employees. They pay the same amount of insurance. There's your apples, Honeycrisp.
Mr. Reed.
I'd like to hear what Mr. Tippin has to say.
Mr. Tipton, if you come to the podium, please.
My name is Carl Stevens, Road Superintendent. Y'all know. I
I've just got a problem with talking about the study. This makes the third study that's been done here in the last 22 years. Nobody has ever done nothing what it says, nobody. And I can tell you right now, Mr. Scarlett, it ain't gonna, what are you gonna do when it comes back? Are you gonna fund the pay more? But you know, I've got minutes of when Mr. Potts was the finance director, sat in here in this room and said that we could build $20 million worth of schools and not have a tax increase. And you're fussing about a tax increase over a raise? That's my question. Just like before when I stood in here, I've got men, I've done it myself. I've been working here for 46 years. I've dedicated my life to this county. And I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing it for my people. They take a phone and carry it for a week at a time, going out on the road cutting trees. And a lot of familiar faces right here helps drag tree limbs out of the road. I'll tell you right now. And they don't get compensated for doing that, carrying that phone. Never have. I never did when I did it. And all I'm asking is just be fair with the employees, man. I'm right now, I've got an opening now. I can't even hire anybody for $12 an hour that's got a CDL license. They turn around and walk. I'm just telling you, you're losing people every day, and you might have to get you some snow plows put on you Ford Tauruses here one day.
Thank you, Mr. Tipton. So we're back to the original motion as agenda, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Snodgrass if he will close, if he wants to do a close to the motion, and then we will vote.
Sure, I'll be brief. I really like what Mr. Tipton said. I've heard this for decades. Try to just keep up. Why do we gotta be just keeping up? We're gonna try to promote our county, #1 tourism, #1 economic development, commercial growth, all these kind of good things. So why do we have to keep just keeping up? This is just a small step in that. Right now, we're trying to catch up a little bit of where we're behind. So it's only logical that we vote this thing through.
Thank you, Mr. Snodgrass. At this time, we'll go ahead and vote, and it's amended. And I will repeat it one more time. I hope it's the same as the last time. So 8% increase beginning July 1 on your monetary pay. A 5% bonus immediately, but it goes, the 8% goes into effect first. That includes 3 people at the jail. It also includes part-time employees and E911 employees. It says all part-time, all employees, right? Okay. So if you understand that, then I did my job. So if you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Discussion was closed by Mr. Snodgrass.
Well, I thought everybody was getting the 5%.
They are.
Okay, even the jailers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody gets 5%. Bonus.
Bonus. Yeah, bonus. Okay.
Or whatever word you're calling it this time, but 5%. Go ahead, if you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Passes 17-1 with 3 abstains. In the November paycheck, so for the finance office, we have come to the conclusion of our agenda, unless there's an item I've missed. I've handwritten notes and I've got arrows and algorithms up here. So let me remind you, before I say we're adjourned, we have a beer board meeting next. So, yeah. Hold on, finance director's got a question.
5% on part-time employees, what's that considered? Some work 3 hours this year since July 1st, some haven't.
It said all part-time employees.
Everybody. But it's on their hourly rate. I just got to make sure. Payroll lady had written it.
Well, they said all, so that's what the motion said. So, don't forget, at least enough of you stay for a quorum for